So, you're about to build a house. It's exciting. But before you get lost in floor plans, before you even think about calling a contractor, there's a single decision that will define that house for the next 30 years. That's what we're digging into today, the materials you build with. Because trust me, once the work starts, changing your mind gets really, really expensive.
So let me ask you a question. What do you think is the single biggest, most expensive mistake a first-time home builder can possibly make? I'll give you a hint. It's not what you think. And it doesn't happen during the build. It happens way before the first shovel even touches the dirt.
And there it is. The answer is choosing the wrong materials right at the very beginning. You know that small saving you make today on a cheaper material? Well, that can lead to decades of expensive repairs, crazy high energy bills, and just constant headaches. Okay, let's get into how to avoid that.
We're going to build our knowledge just like you'd build a house, from the ground up. We'll start with the structure, the part you can't compromise on. Then we'll move to the envelope that protects you from the climate. After that, the finishes that have to last. And finally, we'll look at building for the future, before wrapping up with the one core idea you need to remember.
First up, the unseen structure. This is the skeleton of your home. This is the one area, the only area, where compromise is just not an option. Everything else, everything you see and touch, rests on the strength of what we're about to talk about.
Now, the strength of your house is built in this exact order. It all starts with the foundation, which anchors the house to the ground. Then you have the columns, which shoot all that weight downwards. And finally, the beams create the frame for your floors and your roof. It's a complete system, and every part is critical.
And the material that makes this all possible is reinforced cement concrete, or RCC. This stuff is brilliant. See, concrete on its own is incredibly strong if you squeeze it, but it's terrible if you try to pull it apart. Steel is the exact opposite. So by putting high-grade steel bars inside the concrete, you get this kind of superhero material that can handle both forces, which is absolutely essential in places that might have seismic activity.
But even the best material is useless if it's not on the right base. Your foundation depends entirely on the soil you're building on. In a lot of South Asia, you've got this weak, clay-like soil. You can't just dig a shallow trench. You need a much stronger raft foundation or even deep pile foundations to hit solid ground. Now contrast that with the Middle East, where it's all about sandy soil. The challenge there is totally different. You need intense soil compaction to create a stable base, and, believe me, anti-termite treatment isn't optional, it's mandatory.
So here's the bottom line, and I really want you to hear this. If any contractor ever suggests using a little less steel or a lower grade of concrete to save you some money, that's your cue to walk away. Seriously, you can change your paint, your tiles, your kitchen a dozen times. You will never be able to change the structure.
Okay, our skeleton is rock solid. Now we need to wrap it in a protective skin. We're talking about the building envelope. The walls, the roof, and the windows. These are the things that stand between you and the elements, whether that's monsoon rains or just scorching desert heat.
This chart really shows how much your location should dictate your material choices. Let's take South Asia. Heat and humidity are the big enemies. So AAC blocks are a fantastic choice. They're light, so they reduce the load on the structure, and they're great insulators. But here's the common mistake. People use old-school thick mortar, which basically creates a heat highway into your house. You have to use the recommended thin bed adhesive. Now, over in the Middle East, the heat is so extreme a single wall just won't do. The best approach is a cavity wall, an outer wall, an air gap with insulation, and an inner wall. The biggest mistake here? Building a single wall and skipping that insulation entirely. It's a recipe for gigantic AC bills.
Your roof gets hit with the most direct sun, so it's probably the most important part of keeping your home cool. A modern roof isn't just a slab of concrete, it's a whole system. As you can see, you've got the main structural slab, then a non-negotiable waterproof layer, then a thick insulation board, a layer to protect that, and finally a reflective surface to literally bounce the sunlight away. Every single layer has a critical job to do.
Why go through all that trouble for a roof? Well, because of this number, 30 years. That's how long you're likely going to be in this house. If you skip that roof insulation to save a little cash today, you'll be paying for it with higher air conditioning bills for the next 30 years. It's the classic definition of being penny wise and pound foolish.
And let's be honest, windows are basically just giant holes in your walls. In South Asia, double-glazed glass is a great call to insulate against heat and noise, and UPVC frames are perfect because they don't rot in the humidity. But in the Middle East, you've got to step it up. We're talking double or even triple glazed glass with a special low E coating that reflects heat. And the frames need to be thermally broken aluminum, which means there's a plastic barrier inside the metal to stop heat from sneaking through. It's a high-tech solution for a very high-tech problem.
All right, let's move on to the parts of the house you actually see and touch every single day, the finishes. Now, it's easy to think of this as just decoration, but that is a huge mistake. The right finishes are your home's first line of defense, and they determine how much maintenance you'll be doing for years to come.
Just think about it for a second. When you walk into an older house, one that's maybe seen better days, what are the first problems you notice? Where do things really start to look worn out?
9 times out of 10, it's going to be one of these 3 things. You'll see water stains from bad waterproofing, a shabby exterior from cheap, cracked paint, and floors that are just chipped and worn out in the main walkways. And the best part? All of this is totally avoidable if you just choose the right materials up front.
Let's talk floors. You walk on them every day, so that cheap tile that looks good in the showroom, that's a recipe for chips and cracks in just a few years. Instead, think long-term. Think 30-year lifespan. Natural stones like granite and Coda stone are incredibly tough. Polished concrete gives you a super modern look and is nearly indestructible. And of course, marble is a premium choice that can last for generations. The point is, invest once, do it right, and you're done.
Okay, I really need you to hear me on this. Waterproofing is not an extra. It is not an add-on. It is a fundamental, mandatory requirement. The vast majority of long-term damage to a home, we're talking peeling paint, mold, even structural damage, it all starts with one tiny preventable leak. Every single wet area, your roof, toilets, balconies, basement, must have a professional waterproofing system, period.
Okay, so we've talked about building a house that can stand up to the weather. Now let's talk about building a home that's actually good for you and good for the long run. These aren't just buzzwords, they have a direct impact on your health and your wallet.
Future-proofing just means making smart choices today that you'll be thanking yourself for later. Things like solar panels and rainwater harvesting, they cut your bills down. Using low VOC paints means you're breathing in fewer chemicals. Simple design tricks like planning for cross-ventilation can dramatically cut your need for AC. And in those humid climates in South Asia, insisting on marine-grade plywood for cabinets means they won't swell up and fall apart. These are the little details that make a huge difference. So we've covered a ton of ground here, from the foundation right up to the roof. It can feel like a lot to remember. But honestly, it all boils down to one single guiding philosophy. One mindset that should shape every single decision you make.
This right here is the most important thing to take away from all of this. Stop asking what's the cheapest way to build this. Instead, start asking what's the total cost of owning this thing for the next 30 years. When you start thinking like that, spending a bit more on good insulation or durable flooring isn't an expense. It's actually the smartest financial move you can make.
And that really brings us to the final question you need to ask yourself. A house built with cheap, wrong materials is a house that will demand your constant time, money, and attention. You'll always be fixing it. You'll be serving it. But a house built with smart, climate-appropriate, durable materials, that's a house that serves you. It gives you comfort, security, and peace of mind for decades. That choice is yours, and you make it right now, before you ever break ground.
If you're ready to level up, like and share this video. Subscribe and hit the bell to join the future of efficiency. Aira, your life optimized.